Hello, everyone. It is Rose Chastain, co-founder for Your Natural Healthcare. And with me today, I have the wonderful Wednesday Reynolds.
Hi, Rose.
Hi. Thanks for being with us today. And you guys are in for such a treat. So first, I have to tell you about Wednesday and how cool she is. So Wednesday is actually Your Natural Healthcare's social media manager or consultant, I guess I should call you. So all the brilliant things that you guys can see and including the articles and all the graphics and all the cool information, that's all Wednesday. And she is leading the charge with that. So Wednesday, this is what I have to say about Wednesday. She is a natural healthcare advocate, personal development and CBD devotee, digital marketer, and she has over 20 years in experience in web management, product launches, email marketing. She is currently a freelance social media strategist and the director of operations and client experience at Social Media Pro, which is another killer company. But my favorite thing about Wednesday that you all should know, and I asked her to do this interview with me, and she's like, no, I'm the one running the social media campaigns, not the one being interviewed, but she graciously said yes to this. So let me tell you my favorite thing about Wednesday. And I know it's weird to hear yourself being talked about in the third person, but what I absolutely love about you is the peace of mind and clarity that you bring to your everyday. And my experience of working with you, it might not be that way in your mind, but my experience of working with you is even when everything is going wrong, you bring a peace that is so empowering and so valuable. And so I wanted to see if we could steal your secrets. And
thank you.
You're welcome. And I wanted to start with just finding out if you're willing to share with us some of your practices and how you maintain peace of mind.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for having me. You know that I was a little self-conscious, but you told me recently I'm one of the happiest people you know, and I told you, well, I think it's being around you that makes me happy. So
oh, you're so great.
I think, one of the things like I want to acknowledge is that right now, most of us are sheltering in place and we're dealing with a lot of worry, some of us concerns. It might be like a concern about our income or our health for ourselves or a loved one, or, some people are worried that the bottom of society is falling out right now.
Yes.
So while a conversation about peace of mind, I think sometimes people hear it as, oh, it's going to be a woo-woo conversation or something about self-care or something that like privileged people get to engage in because they aren't working 3 jobs or they're not dealing with racism. Like, I just
they can afford to do an hour of yoga.
Exactly. And like you and I grew up in the Bay Area and in a really kind of new age center, and I grew up at the epicenter of the me generation here in San Francisco. And sometimes it can be, you can hear it like, oh, when people are focused on enlightenment or peace of mind or self-care, it's a kind of really self-serving kind of thing. And I just want to kind of get it out of the way that it's not a self-serving thing if the underlying concern is making a difference in the world.
Yes.
And so why peace of mind really why it matters to me in my daily life, and why it matters, especially in times like this, is like, how can I bring a sort of centeredness to my life, to other people and what I'm engaged with, not in a self-serving way, but in a way that it's gonna provide something in my ability to tackle what's right in front of me now. So that's kind of like why peace of mind for me.
Yes.
That's the why of it.
So that we can deal effectively with the circumstances that we're dealing with.
Exactly.
A little bit ago, my boyfriend asked me why I didn't want to sit and listen to the announcement, the updated coronavirus announcement, and I told him that I've been very selective about what I let in, and I've been reading the CDC website for updates, but there was only so much input I can deal with and be peaceful at the time right now. Yes. And that will change, but it's in what you're saying, it's being responsible for how centered I am so that I can deal effectively with what is happening.
Yeah. And then going after that information so you're up to date at the right time, at the time that you choose that's going to work for yourself in your life. So here's my first like main practice, and that is
Woo!
that at the beginning of every single day, Rose, like I start my day with like a commitment to cause something. And so what that means for me is what I don't do for the entire hour when I first wake up is I don't look at email. I don't see how many likes I got for a social media post. I don't look at instant messages, and I don't look at Slack, nothing for the first hour, because that kicks me into reactive mode right away where I want to make this client happy, or I want to put out that fire, or I want the little dopamine hit that I get because 20 people liked what I said on Instagram, or like that. So that's what I don't do. And what I do is sit down with a pad and paper. And what I'm looking to do is choose two things, just two goals that are things that I will, no kidding, accomplish that day. And in the process of doing that, I might jot down 30, 40 things because it's kind of freeing your mind, clearing your mind. But what I'm wanting is two things that, like, if I get those accomplished, my integrity is fulfilled for myself. And those things might have to do with my family. They might have to do with work. They might have to be one of my political concerns, like phone banking, or it might be a creative concern. It might be taking a hike. That it can be a wide range of things, but knowing myself as someone that fulfills what I say really matters in any given day.
Yes.
It allows for like a peacefulness within myself that I think it's not just like, oh, so I can feel good about myself. It's because what actually happens when your integrity is fulfilled, I say, is that you're out of the way for yourself. And then you show up for other people in a way that they're left with themselves and what you're dealing with together. When I say dealing with, it's not necessarily, I don't mean like a struggle, but whatever what you're creating, what you're working on, you know, what you're doing together.
Yeah. That's awesome. I am going to take that because so much of my days are filled with some version of try and get as much done as possible.
Yeah.
You know, so it's never ending, you know, and that makes perfect sense, because if I could just say in the morning, okay, what I'm going to accomplish are these two things, that gives me a whole other level of peace of mind that I couldn't achieve when I'm just trying to get as much done as possible.
And you'll accomplish those 30, 40 other things you jotted down, plus everything on your calendar, or you won't. There might be some that you put off, but those two are the ones that, for me, having that sense of integrity gives me a centeredness that then I think translate to my clients, my family, my sons, feeling that like I'm someone that can be counted on. They don't even have to know what the two things are and whether I did them or not. It's just what it provides for myself. Then it translates into a centeredness that other people kind of count on and rely on.
Yeah. How did you come up with that practice?
Let's see. I think that originally came from like the Miracle Morning. Or maybe it's Jim Rohn. I don't know. So this, that's a great question though, because I do want to talk about how people come up with practice.
Yeah.
Should I could do that now, or I could tell you.
Yeah. Tell me.
So this is kind of something that I consider my superpower, Rose.
I love that question.
I like to say it's marginalia. Do you know what marginalia is?
No.
It's when you like jot things down in the margins of the book you're reading.
Okay.
So, but that's not really the power doing it. What my power is that I read and read and read and read, and I learn and learn and learn, and I jot things down. But that's not sufficient. The real trick is like I go back to it, and I go back to it over and over and over. So I consume a lot of information, but I'm always looking for the gold. And if there is gold, I keep returning it until I either get to a place where I discard it, or I've decided yep, this is a keeper, and it becomes kind of part of who I am. And I also decided that the point at which you know whether it's going to become a part of who you are or not is generally 30 days.
Wow. So you discover something and you think, okay, this might really empower me.
Yeah.
And then you just keep diving into it for 30 days, which at that point, okay, this is now part of who I am, or you decide not to do it.
Yeah, because after 30 days, like it's kind of like when a practice that you're testing out, taking for a test drive, it becomes a habit. And when something becomes a habit, then you don't really have to bring too much attention to it anymore necessarily. And
Right.
there's a few different, like I hear people doing like the 30-day yoga challenge or the 30-day meditation challenge, or I think you're doing a journaling thing right now. And
Yeah.
My friend Kate told me, she said she's like loves new apps. So she puts apps on her phone all the time. So her home screen is like, she could scroll forever. She's got so many apps. So
Yeah.
she made a rule for herself. I put the new thing on my home screen, no scrolling. And if after 30 days I'm not using it, then I delete it. And that's just a tiny practical thing that then, that's like 30 days just kept seeming like the magic number for me. So
that's awesome. The book that I'm reading right now and that has inspired my journaling is called 40 Days and 40 Nights. And one of the pieces in the beginning, I was trying to look if I have it in front of me. One of the pieces in the beginning was talking about how throughout history and in all these different reference books and biblical books and whatnot, there's been this reference to 40 days and 40 nights because something about that number or that amount of time committed to something changes who you are.
Yeah, that's really cool. And so I think that I came across the two things it became a habit and it's really effective for me. And it's something that I'm just keeping. I'm not going to get rid of that one.
Yeah.
And there's a second practice that goes hand in hand with that, and that's reflecting. And just, what reflecting looks like for me is just constantly truing yourself up. Am I being who I say I'm committed to being in the world? And
yes,
how I do it is meditation.
Yeah.
Walking, I walk every day, and in walking, I allow just more free flow thinking. So in the morning when I'm kind of setting my two goals, that's like a really concentrated, kind of structured, rigorous thinking. But walking, I just let it free flow. That's when my most creative ideas come up.
Yeah.
And then the last thing about being reflective is Eric, my husband, it's in conversation with him. So Eric is like the embodiment for me of like an unexamined life is not worth living. And
Wow.
I can examine anything with him, and I could tell him my sense of myself was like this when I operated that way. And judgment free, constantly reflecting, constantly just truing yourself up to like, who are you going to be? What is this life for? And and if you're doing those things, then you never have to worry or have a concern. Like you're not like scrambling, you're not scrambling to prove who you are to someone else. You're not looking for someone else's approval. You're just like, you're doing everything you know to do to live your life with integrity. And so there's nothing else to worry about.
Yeah.
And
you know what I love about what you're saying? Sorry, I know you might have had a little bit more you were going to say, but what I love about what you say is it gives you something else to focus on and to put your attention on other than the default concerns or survival or anything like that. I know for me, if I worry about money or if I'm fighting with my spouse or trying to be somebody that I don't feel I naturally am, or any of those things, it's very hard when I relax and say, no, this is who I am, or this is what I'm going to accomplish, or create that examined life. I can actually be at peace no matter where I am, no matter what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I know for me that the pull for getting things done or accomplish things. Like just a second ago, I got a text from my assistant, and she's working on this really cool project that will make education about CBD available for everybody. And so, I see the text, and instantly all these thoughts go through. I should have already talked to her. She should be watching this live video. I should answer her questions right now. I should, stop, see if I can multitask. So all of this pull for doing something other than just being here with you right now in this conversation.
Yes.
And I could see the value of your practice and having an examined life. The value is the peace and the permission to just be yourself and to do what it is that you're passionate about.
Yeah. And
So cool.
we know all you can do is what's in front of you right now in this moment. And, this conversation was one of my 2 goals of the day. This was the thing that if I accomplished it with you, in partnership with you, it's going to have me be fulfilled. And,
you're slaying it, girl. Okay, I wanted to ask another question for you. Okay, here's another thing. So you have, I was just talking about being pulled in a different direction, and, I'm a business owner and started this business with my spouse, and there's all of the things that are involved in that, and, the good, bad, and ugly that are challenges. You're a mother, a wife. You have very happy clients that I'm one of. You work for Social Media Pro, and you have 2 boys. I mean, that's like a lot of things directions, to be pulled in, let alone, you facilitate connections with friends too. And, and you walk every day. How do you do all that?
I think, well, there's kind of this myth of like, how do we balance things, and how do women especially balance it all? And I don't know that you can balance it. Like we were just saying, all you can do is what's in front of you right now. And if you give what's in front of you right now your full attention, it frees up time like you would not believe. You're not half invested in worrying about the 10 phone calls you have to return. You're really dealing with what is happening right now. It gets accomplished with peace and velocity, and then you move on to the next thing that's in front of you right now. So with my children in particular, I have 2 fabulous sons, and they're like high achieving human beings. They just are. But it's not because I'm a particular kind of mother that did these 500 things correctly, and then I raised boys that were X. For me, there's like 3 things that I can point to that Eric and I did with the boys. We co-slept with them when they were little, which for me, that just provided the belonging and the love and the comfort and the security, and that has extended to just being available for them. So we co-slept with them when they were little, and as teenagers now, we're available. They know we're available. So there's the co-sleeping. There's lots of hugging, and then books and reading. So they were read to a ton when they were little, and we surround you've been to our house, and there's books everywhere, and we're all readers, and we don't all write in the margins, but and the best thing I could teach my kid or any other kid is like, if you can read and you love reading and you get kind of mastery around reading critically, there is nothing that you cannot learn on earth. There's nothing you can't learn or accomplish or figure out. And so hugs and reading, those are the things, and being available.
That's so awesome. So great. So great. And you really do there we go. We've done that twice now on this conversation. You do excellent work in terms of social media. And one of the things I really appreciated about you and working with you is your ability to translate our vision for your natural health care, which really was to provide people with alternatives to the allopathic medicine, to give them natural remedies. And you've taken that vision and that commitment and turned it into something that people can access. So I couldn't recommend you more highly. You're incredible at that. And I think it's more important than ever now that people have their CBD that they take, you know, and as a practice that gives them peace of mind. Exactly. There you go. Oh, you have the new one. You have the fancy one.
Yeah. That's the high dosage.
The high dosage, exactly. Is it the 1500 one? Is that the one that you have?
Yeah, I think it is.
That's awesome.
No, it's 1,000.
1,000. Some of our new products. So I just really want to appreciate you and can't recommend you enough. If there's anybody out there that's watching this that needs support with social media, you are the person. Marketing, website design, social media. You're the person to reach out to.
Thank you, Rose. Could I give a shout out to Social Media Pro as well?
Yes, please.
Which is this amazing company that I work on with a team of about 5 people. And the co-founders, Kate and Jesse, are also the senior instructors. And we have just an amazing training that you could learn how to be a social media manager. And it takes about 30 days, that magic 30 days. And
I think we're friends. Oh, there we go.
I think especially at this time where we're like staying home and trying to stay creative while we're at home, some people are like, hey, how could I earn a living from home ongoingly? Yes. And so social media management is one of the most exciting, most fun, and most easily accessible careers that people could take on for themselves, or a side gig if that's your thing.
That's awesome. And then, so how do people find out about that? Socialmediapro.com or?
Yeah, and I'll put in a link to a deal when in the comments.
When you upload the video. Perfect. And of course, also to remind everybody, we are running a special for CBD. So put in the code Peace of Mind for 15% off and free shipping. Wednesday, thank you so much for your wisdom and for your practices. I'm going to actually set myself up to do that practice now, to do that two things every day.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been a lot of fun.
You're awesome. All right, everybody. Thanks. Talk to you soon. Bye.